All right, guys, it has been a week since I gave Sada this Tinder challenge experiment. I have no idea if it's been a failure or a success, but I'm going to call her now and we'll find out what the result is. Hey, Sada, how are you doing?
I'm very well, and you?
Yeah, I'm doing good. I am very curious to hear how you got on. Have you had a good week or a bad week with Tinder? Was it a success or a failure?
I think it was a failure, in my opinion.
Okay.
I just feel this way, like it was a failure, just because I had like lots of expectations on what would go on and what would like happen, and it was like the complete opposite in a way. At the beginning, I had like some success, in the like I think it was like in the first 3 days in terms of matching, I got some success, but then the replying was a nightmare. I just found that the exchange of messages was like really a nightmare. Just because I would say like good morning and they would reply good morning, but then the conversation was like over. And I was so confused why. I mean, really, I didn't thought the ghost was like a reality. I don't know why. I just thought this kind of stuff wouldn't happen at all. So I just think it's a little bit difficult for me to invite them to go on a date with me if they don't even reply. And this happened like a lot in the chat conversations. Like in Tinder, I open and it's all my messages. They reply once, but they don't text again. And this was so weird to me. I had no idea these things happen. And I just felt like I struggled. Even in the conversations, I had like to lead the conversation, which I don't mind. But then I just felt like some of them put zero effort into making like the conversation just go and flow. And I don't know, it was so weird. It was so weird. And in the last days, I was like, I hate this. I don't want to do this again. And I don't want to continue this. I mean, I almost like felt a little bit, not almost, I mean, I was really down yesterday because of this. And it's not my life, not my pictures. And it was so weird because I felt like it's not like my self-esteem is down, but I had like empathy for the guy if it was actually happening and if I was actually him. And I just feel like it's not a very good place long term. I don't know. Short term, it was like it wasn't good. So I think long term the damage is bigger. I don't know. I don't want to do this again. Really, I hate it. Really, fine. But then, oh no. Mm-mm.
I'm so sorry I put you through this, but at least you now have an idea of what it's like for just average guys every single day on these apps. It's so hard for them and it really eats away at your self-esteem.
Yeah, but I thought you weren't like average. This is the thing. I put you like very interesting. I said you were like a psychologist. I like you had like very good pictures. I didn't understand what was like the problem. I even try like to think stuff like, oh, maybe it's the age or something. I just thought there was something wrong. I don't know. Maybe if I have different pictures, I was just trying to figure it out, but I don't think it's like very honest. So I have to like manipulate the whole thing just to get matches and girls replying. It's very weird. But also, I mean, I didn't film this in the videos, but I had like some evil thoughts. Not evil thoughts, but they were like out of the experiment. I just thought that if I change like your preference to male company, if I got more replying in matches, and I just think I would got like much more replying in messages. So yeah, it's weird to me. This whole thing is weird because guys don't do this on dating apps. They just don't stop replying. They don't do that. Like, they don't ghost. And it's weird that women do that so often. I didn't thought this was like a thing, but it is. And it's weird. It's very weird. I don't like it. I don't like being in it. Nah. Not for me, for sure. I hate it, really. I just don't like the whole thing. Like, oh, and
And you know how you said at sorry to interrupt. You know how you said at the beginning that it was easier to get matches and then it was difficult to get replies or as many matches. I hate to burst your bubble as well, but when you first create a Tinder algorithm, when you first create a Tinder account, the algorithm pushes your new account into lots of different people's faces so that you can get a bunch more matches. So that initially you get that dopamine hit that says, wow, this app really, really works. And it hooks you in thinking, ah, yes, this is good. And so lots of people don't realize that. They think, oh, I had success at one point, but it was just at the beginning. Once the Tinder algorithm starts to assign you like a hidden value, then you start to get matches according to your actual kind of desirability on the app, and it starts to go way, way, way down. So even that initial success that you got on the app, that wasn't really due to anything. That was completely artificial.
yeah, that makes sense because today I got 0 matches. Yesterday one, the other day one, and then the others were good days where I just felt okay, this is going well, I'm getting lots of matches. But the replying on the third day was almost none. Almost none. They didn't reply, and I'm so confused. Why do you match with someone if you're not going to talk with them? And why, like, what, you're trying to collect matches or something? I don't know. I don't understand. If you match, why don't you talk to the person? And if you talk, why do you stop? Just unmatch or something. Just don't make me go through the whole thing and just expect something that it's not going to happen. And I can say that some of the conversations were just weird as hell. Women that I match, but they are dry as hell. And I was like, I'm not going to invite you to go on a date with me. You're lucky if I did that. Because the conversation was just so dry. Like, I just felt like I don't want to keep talking to you. But some of them, you could actually feel the good vibes. You can see the difference, like, right away in the conversations. But yeah, some of them were like,
I have a friend who is a really interesting, well put together, like high value guy. And he said to me once, it seems so strange that I'm chatting to a girl who's really accomplished nothing in her life, like objectively speaking, compared to me. And yet I'm putting in a crazy amount of effort trying to get her interested in me. And yet she seems completely non-fussed whether or not to reply or not. And he's trying to wrap his head around this because on the one hand, he's got this self-esteem which says, I'm a high value, attractive, desirable guy. But yet, if that's true, why does this girl who's just sort of average in her, desirability, why does she seem to have so much more power than I do in this dynamic? But that's just the reality of the dating differences between men and women. It's largely biological, but it's also cultural, and apps like Tinder really exacerbate it.
and I just feel like Tinder is just unfair as hell. I think the dating app is not. I don't think. I at the end I was like, is this even healthy? Is this even healthy for me to be on the dating app? I just felt like it wasn't. And I think it's better like the old-fashioned way. Really. I think it works better. But that's very interesting because I felt like you were very good in terms of looks, in terms of like interesting stuff to talk about, and I put like an excellent bio saying you were looking for a long-term relationship, like meaningful relationship, and still wasn't enough. And I was like, so what can I do? But yeah, this is normal. I was like so shocked that I talked to a friend of mine and he was like, yeah, this happens. Ghosting is the most often thing that it will ever like be on Tinder. Like it's always, he says like, that they are lucky if they even got one that actually continues the conversation. Yeah, this is all very weird reality. And maybe I was like ignorant. I didn't know this was like this. So it's, and you can see my reactions. They are very different. I'm so excited in one video, and then on the other, I'm just like, take me out of here. I don't want to do this anymore. And I'm like this. So yeah. So I got really into the thing. I was like really into the whole thing, and I just feel sorry for like guys and stuff. Like, no, I don't think this is good for anyone, really. And it's unfair. It's all based on looks. So if a guy is not like handsome or something, it's like, no, I don't want to meet him or something. So it's so difficult to actually connect with people and bond with them. So I just don't like the whole thing, really. Oh.
Okay, let me ask you this. When you began the experiment, did you think that you would have a bit of an edge being a woman and thinking, I know what women are looking for. I'm going to be able to talk to them in like an easy way. Were you confident going in that you'd have the skills to be able to make these women attracted to you?
Yeah, I was like, I even thought to myself, if this doesn't work, I can do a little game. If this doesn't work, I know what they want to hear. I know what they want. So yeah, I'm just going to use the knowledge I have, and I'm going to, because I mean, we even have to do this, and it almost feels wrong, but it's necessary. Because if I don't play a little game or am a little bit more like more manipulative in a sense, not manipulative, but have to make more effort. I think it's the effort thing. I'm not really going to get any results with women. And I was so confident. I was so confident. I was like, I know what they want. I know what they want to hear. I'm going with some pretty good messages and it's going to work out. But it didn't. I'm so confused. I don't know. I don't know about anything anymore. I was like, mm-mm. But I was so confident about that. Yeah.
Yeah, right. You sound like you've been massively humbled by this experience. Would that be accurate?
Yes. Because I was with a woman mindset. I thought what happens to a woman in a dating app would actually happen to a man, or not the same, not the same in terms of, because I know that women are more selective, but the ghosting thing is what amazed me and what actually put me down. And the matches, like I just put like and then I got no likes back, and I can't really understand why. Because I was not even like, sometimes girls are afraid that it's just hookups or something, and some of them want the hookups, but I was like, meaningful relationship. Not even a damn meaningful relationship these women want. What? It's just weird. I don't know. But yeah, of course I'm more humbled by this whole thing. Yeah, for sure. Had no idea it felt like this. We might sometimes know stuff, but we don't know how it feels. And now I got like a little bit of how this whole thing feels. So I guess the feeling is the difference here, because my friends can tell me the experience, but we can't really feel the whole thing. We can feel a little bit. We have empathy, of course, but once we are actually in the situation, it's much different, and we can actually feel the maybe what some guys feel, and it's not good. It's not a good experience. Yeah.
Well, that's a really good point. I feel like everybody can understand in the abstract, oh yeah, it's difficult for guys, but you've really had the empathetic experience of standing in the shoes, or at least the Tinder profile of a man, and trying to do the exact same things that a man does. I'm almost embarrassed to say how happy it makes me to hear a woman go through this experience and to feel what it's like to be a man and to feel the empathy that's coming from you in this realization. And I also feel completely vindicated in my prediction for this experiment, because this is exactly what I thought would happen. You know, exactly. I picked it. There was an element of doubt, I'll admit. I thought, well, she seems very confident, you know, and she's a smart girl. Maybe she'll crack the code and I'll look like a moron. But I'm kind of disappointed, to be honest. Like, there's a slight flatness that didn't happen. I would have been delighted to have been proved wrong, but there is definitely a satisfaction in being proven right in this situation. And to hear your experience and your compassion, it's really lovely. Thank you.
I mean, for me, it's very good to go through this, really, because I'm just expanding my awareness of everything, you know, of this whole interactions between men and women. But I find one thing, I even thought the Portuguese culture was different. I thought because I am in Portugal, because the women in Portugal are different, this whole thing would be different. And I think that would be like the deal breaker. And that's why, because I just feel like the Australian culture and the Portuguese culture are very different. But then, no, maybe this is not that different. And what I found was that Brazilian women actually respond much better. In terms like Brazilian women always reply to me, always. So I don't know if that has anything to do with the whole thing. Maybe they found you like more cute or something. I don't know exactly the reason, but it's fair to point out like Brazilian women like just always replied, and I can't really say why. I don't know, but they always send a message and continue the conversation. And some of them continue until this day, so it's quite interesting why that happens. I don't know, but
Okay. Well, at some point, I'd like to go through the screenshots that you sent me. I want to read them with you there. But before we get to that, I think my final question is: would you encourage other women to do this experiment, to just try creating a male dating profile on Tinder just to see what it's like? Do you think that would be a valuable experience for women to go through?
of course, absolutely. And they know it's harder for a man. They are always like not swipe. They are always not liking the pictures of men. They are very selective. They know, but they should feel this. They should know like this is just to see, just to not ghost, just to stop some actions. Maybe this will make them act a little bit different in some other context. And it's a valuable experience. So yeah, I will probably advise that even. I will probably on my own just say to my friends, oh, why don't you do this? Just for a day or two, just see what happens. Just change the pictures and do this. Let's find out what's like your results and what do you feel. This would be like a very interesting stuff and important actually. Yeah, so I would encourage, of course. Yes.
All right. That's awesome. Have you got the screenshots there in front of you, maybe on your computer? Are you able to look at them?
They're on my phone, but I'm doing the call with you, but I can turn off like the camera and just see the screenshots. I don't know. Would that be okay?
No, that's okay. Keep the camera going. I'm going to pull up the screenshots, and hopefully you can remember what it is, but I'll just call out to you. I'll read out to you what's going on. Is that okay? Okay, so we've got Lua. Hi, Lua, you write, and you got no reply.
Yeah, pretty much. I don't know why she matched with me. This is my brain. My brain is like, why the hell did you match if you're not going to reply? Thanks. Thanks a lot. And then this happens so much much more times.
Gabriella. Hi, Gabriella. No reply. Same thing again.
It's frustrating.
I will say that if you were a male client having a private consultation with me and you told me that you were starting Tinder like conversations by saying hi and then their name, I would tell you that that's not good enough as a Tinder opener. Like, you haven't displayed any game here. There's no skills. Like, that's a very, ordinary opening. But I mean, it's still interesting that they weren't polite enough to just say hi back. But this is the thing, is that as a man, you have to put in more effort than just saying hi. Like, if you want to be noticed, you can't just be polite. All of the men that are matching with them are polite. You got to say something funny or witty or a little bit teasing or insightful. You've got to shock and get that attention. And just saying hi wasn't going to do that. Is that a revelation to you?
Yes, but it's actually, yeah, it makes sense. But at the same time, I mean, it's weird. Why do I have to like put a little text, something like funny just to get some attention? I mean, if we match, why don't we just speak like normal people? Why just putting all this pressure on me to have to like say something funny just to get your attention? And it doesn't have to be something funny, but why? I mean, it's just doesn't make sense. Why this whole pressure on me to just put something out there so I can get your response back? It doesn't make sense and it's not fair. I don't like this. I don't like the way things work, really. I don't think this is.
Yeah.
This is probably going to frustrate you even more, but let's keep going. I see a conversation with Julia where she responds and saying, hey, you, I forgot the good. She says, I'm very well. You say, I'm very well. Have you been busy? And then no reply.
Yeah.
I see another conversation. Raquel, you ask, how are you? After she replied to you, hey, good morning, but then no reply. All right. Now, this one looks a little bit longer. I'm looking at a text conversation with Marianne.
Marianne,
and you're talking about... okay, you liked Marianne. That's good. You're talking to her about Australia, Portugal. She's giving you information about her family. But this conversation seems to have quite a lot of back and forth. Did that ever go anywhere? Did you manage to convince her to go on a date with you?
yes, that one, yes. So it
Wow, congratulations. What was different, do you think?
just she was different. She was a different woman. I think this depends on woman to woman. Some woman, I just feel like, I don't know if the word is entitlement. I don't know how you say it in English, but some women are just like, just think men are disposable. This one actually saw me as a damn human being trying to initiate a conversation. The other ones, I just feel like they think I'm disposable and they don't value me as a human being on this side of the phone. And she actually made some conversation. She was like excited, like to get to know me and why is an Australian guy in Portugal. And she actually was very like into me and wanted to meet. So this is the difference. I think there are a lot of, how you say it, low quality women on Tinder, in my opinion. So yeah, this one was
Right. Oh, well, bravo, Marianne, for treating us like we're human beings. We salute you. All right, I'm looking at Madalena. ¿Cómo estás, Madalena? And then no reply. I'm looking at Maria. How are you? No reply. I'm looking at Melissa. And how are you? No reply. Bit of a trend here. Nice. I'm looking at a conversation with Talita. Bit of a conversation. You know, she's Brazilian living in Portugal. Nice texting. Then you ask, nice, have you come because of work? To which you get?
no reply.
No reply.
I think she was like the only Brazilian that didn't answer like until the end. I don't know. I think that the trend was Brazilian women actually get me more like texts and stuff like that. So it's...
Yep. Well, I'm certainly picking up a trend here. Vanessa didn't reply. Elizabeth didn't reply. You had some conversations with Bar and Isabel, and there's another person here, Silva. So they seem to have gone well. And what in these conversations, what did you like best? Like, what did you really appreciate when the woman was talking back to you?
I appreciate curiosity about me and openness to actually meet. Ba, actually, I don't know that name, but it's so weird. But I don't know what the real name of her is. But she was like, what exactly are we going to do if I go to your house? I was just like, let's chat, have good conversation and some wine. And she, of course, she immediately thought I wanted just to have sex with her. It's okay. But I was like, it was very clear. I just want good conversation and wine. So, I mean, as a man, I just felt like it's weird because if somebody is like doubting my intentions, it's very weird because I'm being honest here. And I have all the information. I have the info that I want a meaningful relationship. I have the info that I just want to have good conversation. And you're still doubting about my intentions. I just didn't like the whole like implied thing. What exactly are we going to do and all of that. She was afraid that it was just like, I understand, but I also felt like this thing. If I'm a man, somebody just thinks I just want that. It's weird in a sense. I don't know. I see both sides, but yeah.
So what was the final tally then? Give me the results. How many matches and how many dates did you end up getting?
I mean, I have to count. I think I put it on the video and I have it on my phone. I can see it very fast. Oh, and I got some unmatches, but that's okay. Where do I have it?
So memorize the the statistics, and then I'm gonna ask you, put your camera back, and I'll ask you again.
Okay. So you want me to like... Can you see me?
Not yet. It's a bit blurry.
Okay. I think it's good.
So what was the final tally then? How many matches did you get, and how many women did you manage to convince to go on a date with you?
I couldn't see the results. I didn't have time. I have on the notes. My God.
Yeah, that's absolutely fine. We'll have that part in later. But I think this draws to the end. Do you have any like final thoughts? Anything that you wanted to say?
I think there are better apps than Tinder. I don't know if there are, but I think there are better apps than Tinder. And hope these men are like, know what they are getting into. Because if this is like this, and if they go like me, thinking that it would be like completely different, there's going to be a problem here. So I just hope they know what they are getting into, which is not a good reality. So yeah, don't advise.
It's one of the reasons why. It's one of the reasons why I make these videos, so that men know what they're getting into, so that they don't take it personally when it doesn't work out like they think it's going to work out. And I think that that's really important work. I really appreciate you doing this experiment. I found that conversation absolutely fascinating. Let me ask you, as unpleasant as this experience was, would you be willing to do more experiments like this in the future? Possibly not on Tinder, but just other things that my brain might come up with?
Yes, but now I will be more prepared. I will be like, oh, maybe this won't be like I'm thinking, so better just calm my expectations down or something. I'm willing to do more because I think I'm learning a lot from this. And it's stuff that I never thought. I never thought about going on Tinder with a male profile. My little head never thought about that. So it's always good to expand the awareness on this whole thing. So I will be willing to do more, of course.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for your time, Sada. I really appreciate it. I'll talk to you again soon.
Bye.
Bye.